Kia ora and welcome to Baha'i On Air. This is the second installment in our two-part series in which we have heard from Maori Baha'is who were part of a group that represented the Baha'i community of New Zealand in Haifa, Israel, at the momentous dedication of the terraces of the Shrine of the Bab. On May 23, 2001, 19 participants chosen from nearly every country in the world congregated at the base of Mount Carmel to formally open these spectacular terraces of light, which lead directly to the Shrine of the Bab, one of the most holy places for Baha'is around the world.
We also welcome viewers and listeners from all around the world. This event is being broadcast on Israeli radio and stations throughout Europe, and it's being sent around the world to viewers and Baha'i communities in hundreds of locations like Samoa, Uganda, Namibia, the United Kingdom, Spain, Australia, Hong Kong, the United States, Canada, Brazil, and many other countries.
The wonders of modern technology enabled the whole event to be transmitted worldwide. That meant that people in my own little town of Kaikoki could actually tune in on their PCs and watch the event. I think this is particularly remarkable as people contributed worldwide to this project. You know, from the lowliest village in some remote areas of Africa, if they had access to that technology, were able to see participants participating in an event that they themselves had contributed to.
Day by day, month by month, the thousands of details were completed, and as the century drew towards a close, the projects, which just a few years earlier seemed all but impossible, moved towards a conclusion that now seemed inevitable. One by one, these new pavilions on the Ark were completed and occupied. The Center for the Study of the Texts exudes a special warmth and dignity. The circular portico cradles a sunken garden and central fountain, creating an atmosphere of cool tranquility and the endless interplay of light and shade.
One thing that really stood out for me was just the way everything had been prepared and organised, and it ran to just perfect timing. The way they hoarded over 3,000 people onto 60 or so buses, it was just incredible. You know, we had this amazing entourage, and just wherever the Baha'is travelled around the city, people just knew, because, you know, you couldn't miss the 60 maroon buses travelling from point A to point B.
Located at the centre of the north face, with the cave of Elijah to the west, the hills of Galilee to the east, and the plain of Sharon to the south, the words of Isaiah seem to echo on all sides. Carmel shall blossom abundantly, and rejoice even with joy and singing. In the tablet of Carmel, Baha'u'llah wrote, "Call out to Zion, O Carmel, and announce the joyful tidings. He that was hidden from mortal eyes is come. Ere long will God set his ark upon thee."
When you were there, did you ever hear any explosions in the distance?
No.
Oh, unless it was just a car backfiring. I think just about every day I thought I could hear, yeah, like an explosion in the distance, and everyone would stop and go, "What was that?" But I wasn't too worried about that. It never really worried me.
It was like being in a bubble in a way. I always felt really protected, you know, being a participant in those Baha'i proceedings.
Like even seeing those soldiers, you know, walking around with their machine guns, with the guns and that, yeah. It, you know, like I saw it and I went, wow, and then that was it, yeah. Because it's what you expect in the country right away, but you know, with what's happening. Yeah, so I wasn't really too worried about that, even that bomb scare we had.
there was just this huge contrast between what was happening for us as Baha'is, celebrating peace and celebrating unity, and that, you know, not far away from us, you know, a bomb had exploded. Actually, a suicide bomber had taken the lives of 5 people.
My mum was the one that was more concerned about me going to Israel because of what's happening there now. And yeah, she was quite worried about me getting shot or, you know, or getting hurt. But I assured her that, you know, that everything would be fine. I told her I was going to visit God's mountain, you know, so how could anything happen to me if I'm going there?
The existence of a human community capable of unifying groups previously divided by religion, race, class or education, where people cooperate rather than compete, where men and women function in equal partnership, where leaders are elected on merit rather than through power struggles and campaigns, and where decisions are made and carried out with the full participation of those affected by them. Proof that peace and justice are not only possible, but practical realities.
I thought lots about Jesus Christ too in that time because I'm from a Christian background. So for me it was being in a land where Jesus had walked as well. It's very, very precious. And all the time I thought of all my family and how, you know, they had invested in my life, my parents, with my Christian upbringing, my grandparents who are Catholics. So Israel, you know, it had significance before I was a Baha'i, but even more afterwards.
Well, I guess for me, at the moment, this whakatauki, this proverb comes to mind, and it says, e hara taku tō te tō takitahi. And that basically it says that my prowess or my, what's the word in English, perhaps not grandeur, but my achievement is not mine alone, but belongs to many. And that, and upon reflection, is how I feel about this bounty and honour of having been able to attend the openings, and that the spiritual significance and the impact of that visit to the Holy Land will permeate to my people.
Praise and glory beseem the Lord of names and the Creator of the heavens. He, the waves of whose ocean of revelation search before the eyes of the peoples of the world. Contemplating the importance of the sacred terraces surrounding the shrine of the Bab, it is with bowed head that I send you salutations and loving greetings. In a world shrouded still under a veil of suffering and turmoil, a beacon of hope burns ever more brightly for humanity. While I wish that I could have joined you in this crowning event, in the history of the Baha'i faith, it is indeed thrilling to think of the many races and peoples, high and low alike, that will gather on this occasion. It is equally awe-inspiring to think that the majestic beauty now so vividly before our eyes has so totally transformed what was once a barren heap of uninhabited rocks. I and the people of our small island nation wish you every success, praying that we may all, like the rocky slopes of God's holy mountain, undergo a similar transformation inside, so that before long we may see peace and goodwill flourish on earth. Soifua, Malietoa Tanumafili II.
I've never had the opportunity myself to work in Haifa, work in the Baha'i World Centre. But what I did see just really has left an impression on me, seeing that these believers are there and they've given up their time and they've moved away from their homes and what they're familiar to, and living there really as servants to something that they really believe in. And it's a cause that I'm now a part of. I was really impressed being there and seeing these people being so devoted to making us feel comfortable, really devoted to their work, and they're there as volunteers. So I think what I've come away with is the sense of, the bigger picture is serving humanity or helping in some way to, improve the lives of others. And that was quite important for me, was that knowing that these people that were there were really there to make our stay comfortable and to make our visit to the Holy Land one that we would remember.
Patrick's over there somewhere.
I think our presence is noticed by others there, as upon my arrival, being specifically Maori in appearance, this man broke out in a haka. I mean, I don't know who he was from a bar of soap, but yeah, obviously he recognised me as a Maori and with the New Zealand contingent.
When the sun went down and started to get darker, they lit the lights on the terraces to the shrine, and I remember my focus was on that, and this is while the music was playing too. And these birds started flying above us, and around us. And it was just beautiful. Yeah.
When you were in Haifa, especially at the bottom of Ben Gurion Avenue, which runs right down into the town, when you looked up, the sense of space and time, it just, you could see Abdu'l-Baha walking the streets, you could see, Bahá'u'llah up there on that rocky mountain, and I just had these images from everything that I had read just played out, as I looked out over the bay and looked up at the shrine.
The lights illuminated the shrine of the Bab and indeed the whole of the mountain, and it was indeed a wondrous sight. Really very remarkable. The whole mountain and its splendour and glory being illuminated by these thousands of lights just ascended the whole scope of the mountain.
The lights came from inside the Shrine of the Bab and from outside the Shrine of the Bab, like it was an in-out thing, so you didn't have a feeling of being separate in any way, whether you were external to the shrine or internal. And I loved that. I loved waking up and seeing the lights down the mountain.
For me, was meeting other Indigenous people from around the world, and people wanting to know about my culture, because we were in these tags with our name of the country that we're from, and people were saying, "Oh, you're from New Zealand?" I said, "Yes." And they say, "Are you a native of New Zealand?" And I'd answer yes, and then they want to know about my culture. So, I'll just talk to them about my culture.
Certainly the program itself, incorporating music from the Congolese choir, that was certainly an experience.
In the heart of Africa lies the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a vast country of rainforest and savanna. From its teeming capital of some 6 million people comes an extraordinary choir, made up primarily of youth. This group of devoted young men and women have been rehearsing every day for 3 months, singing and learning how to play traditional instruments in order to prepare for their historic voyage to the Holy Land. Most of them have never traveled beyond the city limits. But as members of this choir, they represent not only Congo, but the whole of Africa in all its color and vibrancy. For them, coming to the Baha'i World Center and singing the praises of God at the foot of the Holy Mountain is the fulfillment of a lifelong dream.
Yeah. Try. He's good.
I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be on Baha'i Land. It's pretty hot, and it's really hot in this full light, but I'm staunch and I'll keep wearing it.
Yeah, it was particularly exciting for me to bump into old friends and to see people that I hadn't seen for years, or to see New Zealanders who are there as staff members and serving voluntarily. And it was just really quite gratifying to know how well the New Zealand Baha'is are working, and just to know that their work is appreciated. In particular, one of the Baha'is that I caught up with there, Manu Schutz, and her husband Ian, she's actually working in the kitchen. She's in charge of the menu, and she's well loved by everybody because she's turned their diet around. So everybody really loves her and speaks highly of her. So any staff member that I bumped into from anywhere, once they knew that I was from New Zealand, they would ask me, "Oh, do you know Manu?" So that was quite fun.
Well, perhaps on the material level, I think my kids suffered from my husband's cooking while I was away. And of course, I guess whenever a parent is away, the other parent has to take responsibility, and being a working family as we are, all those daily aspects impact on everybody.
We did get a chance to catch up with the New Zealand staff members one evening. We had a dinner together So that was wonderful. That was very noisy.
These are the friends that attended the opening of the terraces, these fortunate souls. And the wonderful New Zealand friends that are working at the terraces. Shadis, say hi to your mum and dad.
Of course, the visit has attracted a lot of attention in our little town of Kaikohe with media coverage, etc. So I don't know, perhaps some of my girls may have had to have fielded questions about my visit, and certainly we had, you know, going away parties where members of the community attended. So the impact has been felt in our town also.
The administrative buildings harmonise rational and spiritual purposes. Designed to stand 500 years, their presence testifies to the permanence of the Baha'i World Centre and the conviction in the renewal of civilization.
Another thing that I found particularly interesting was being in Israel, a holy place for many religious groups, and being on Mount Carmel amongst the Baha'is. You know, this was a holy place for us. That having all these religious groups, particularly within the Baha'i family, that there is a potential and a very strong possibility for peace. And that was one of the things that I sort of took away from being there, you know, meeting up with people from all over the world and from different religious, you know, beginnings who are now Baha'is. So that was particularly profound for me.
Is there any remover of difficulties? Say God, say praise be God is God. All are His servants and all abide by His bidding. Any remover of difficulties? Say God, say praise be God is God. All are His servants and all abide by His praise be God.
The last official event of the whole celebration was when we assembled on the Ark Path, which I've mentioned previously. The Ark Path is a path that has 4 buildings on it. The seat of the Universal House of Justice, where the 9 members of the governing body reside and do their business, an International Archives building, a study for the Centre of the Sacred Texts, and the Teaching Centre. And the whole 3,500 participants were gathered on that path, which is pretty small in terms of kilometrage, perhaps 1 kilometre. And so all of us were present on this Ark Path. And we stood while, in Arabic, the Tablet of Carmel was recited. Now, the Tablet of Carmel is a tablet that was revealed by Bahá'u'llah, the prophet founder of the faith, and actually designates a spot on Mount Carmel where the World Administrative Centre of the Faith is to be established.
I'll never forget it. This is something that's only going to happen once, and I was part of it. And I'll never forget it. It'll be with me forever.
We would like to thank you all, wish you all the best. I'm sure that you'll pray with us for peace, stability, and no more war in this part of the world. And I'm sure that you'll feel that Haifa is a very special city, taking together, respecting, giving a room and a place to each and everybody without any difference of race, of culture, and of religion. And this is the beauty of this city And it is no wonder why the Prophet and those who were the beginners of the Baha'i faith found Haifa to be the world center. Again, thank you very much. I'm sure that when you'll be back home, you'll be better Baha'is and you'll be ambassadors of goodwill.
Quite sad actually, because I wasn't ready to come home. You know, I wish I could have stayed longer, keep that memory with me, and the feelings, the feelings I had inside of me. When I come out of Haifa and just hanging on to what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've been through, and keeping it, not sharing it. No.
I don't know what words to use. I just enjoyed it. Everything. I've enjoyed everything. I don't want to go home. I want to stay here longer.
I found it very difficult to leave because, you know, I felt like my heart is there. You know, it's the physical place has a spiritual hold on you because it's the nature. It's spiritual in nature, and it just had a profound effect on me, and I physically found it hard to leave, but I know that it's there and it's an expression of Baha'u'llah's love.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths.
Carmel, in the book of God, hath been designated as the hill of God, as his vineyard. It is here that by the grace of the Lord of Revelation, the tabernacle of glory hath been raised. Happy are they that attain thereunto. Happy they that set their faces towards it.
We hope that you have enjoyed our two-part series on the official opening and dedication of the terraces of the Shrine of the Bab. If you would like more information about the Baha'i Faith, please contact us by checking out our website at www.baha'i.org.nz. Thanks for watching. Please join us next time.